Hey, Pam, this is going to be so good. He's going to be late. I'm just telling you.
Isn't that awesome? I know. I want to be just like him when I grow up. So Rick White of 180 Biz is a business turnaround and growth expert, helping shop owners go from struggling to stay open to being the go-to shop in their market. He's taught thousands to not only make more money than they ever thought possible, but also to have the time to enjoy it with their families, a true rarity in our industry. Thank you, Rick, for being here.
Ah, man, it's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to it. Um, Boy, I can't see anybody anymore. I'm almost feeling like I got Bob's Lil car. Is that what it says? And I got Pam. So let me get my screen shared here and let's get started. I want to have some fun with this. Please, if you've got questions, put them down. I want to have time. I want to make sure I have time. If we want to stay a little later, whatever it is, I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can. So I want to just introduce, say good afternoon again. My name is Rick White. I am the president of 180 Biz. And today we're going to talk about communicating successfully with women. I want to start off with this a little bit. I want to tell you a little story about when I was setting this class up. I really thought it was an important class because according to Forbes magazine, women control or influence 70 to 80% of all purchase decisions. And I'm going to tell you, I actually think that number is conservative because in my household, my wife controls or influences 100% of the purchases. I'm just saying. I don't know about who else is going to say that and admit it. I'm secure in myself enough to be able to say that, right? It was funny. About a year ago, I did something stupid, which I'm a guy, I do that all the time, but it cost us some money. And Brenda looked at me. Anybody that doesn't know my wife, Brenda, she's an absolute gem. I don't know how I ended up with her. But she looked at me and she kind of grit her teeth and she goes, "That's coming out of your pay." And then she started laughing. And I was like, "What's so funny?" She goes, "I just realized I don't pay you." It's okay. Right. But, I really thought this concept would help. With so many women being in charge of the purchasing decisions, I really thought, boy, I want to be able to help men, I'm a man, improve communications with women. And as I sat down to look at this webinar and put this material together, I really started thinking it through and something just didn't seem right. And what I mean by that is there's more women in the auto repair industry right now than ever before, working every single day. And I think that there's a bigger disconnect here, a bigger issue going on that I really want to address with everybody because, I had visions when I was putting this thing together. I was putting my notes together for the webinar, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have a room full of sweaty guys that didn't shave, smell like beer, etc. And, there's going to be some women thinking, "You're an ass. Why are you doing this? We're not like that," etc., etc. So I thought, the big thing is I think we should have a webinar that helps both genders speak and communicate together a little bit better. Can I get, I got one head shaking yes, right? And it's a female head. So I think that's a good thing. But no, seriously, if you think about it, there are more women in the workplace now than ever before. We've got to be able to interact in a way that makes sense to both of us, and it's a real issue. So I made an executive decision. I can do that. I'm the president, right? And what we decided and said is, how about if we called this webinar Bridging the Communication Gap Between Genders? How about if we do that instead? So I hope by the end of this presentation, you're going to say, "Rick, you hit a home run. This was so much better than just talking about women." Okay. Because I have very limited experience as a woman. I haven't identified as one much. And, I really can't speak for that, but I can talk to you about the gender differences. I've done a lot of studying on this and it's amazing. And I want to just share with you. And if you want to come on camera, you can make faces at me. I see you across the top of my screen here. You can shake your head. Yes, you can flip me to bird, whatever you want. but listen, let's have some fun with this. Okay. So what I want to do today is my objectives. I want to help you understand the generalized, and I want to be very careful about generalized communication differences between genders. Now, I actually want to fix that up a little bit, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I want you to understand what your own limitations are that might be holding you back from being as successful as you possibly can be, either because you're not communicating successfully with your team or with your clients. Now, I want to make sure you understand that all the stuff we talk about right now here today, it's only going to work at your shop. This stuff won't work at home. It won't help your relationships. It won't help your marriage or anything like that. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay. And then I want to give you 3 steps that are going to help you close the communication gap between whoever you're talking to. Now, there's a real danger in generalizing, and I really want, I see incredible value in what I'm about to share with you, but I need you to understand that there's just something really, really dangerous in generalizing. We all have fundamental communication differences between men and women, but the reality is you may have, some people that are acting a little different. We're all unique. Every one of us is unique. There are some commonalities, but every one of us is unique. I have known some very, very competitive women and some very collaborative men. Okay. And we're going to go into this and where it comes from and everything like that. But I need you to understand that what we're about to talk to is actually not a gender thing. This is not a gender thing. See, when we're interacting with another human being, what we want to do is step back, right? You want to step back. You want to be curious. Please be. Curiosity killed the cat, but it's absolutely an essential ingredient, critical ingredient to your success. I am telling you, as a species, we're not curious enough. Too many assumptions, too many biases, etc. We need to be more curious. We got to realize the communication style that we're working with, and we've got to match it. That's really what we've got to do. So where do these differences come from? Number one, for years, psychologists and sociologists felt that it was a gender difference, male and female. And to a degree, that's true, but it's not the whole picture. From a genes perspective, and I'm not talking the pants, I'm talking genetics, there are some physical features, right, in nature that we get. Men tend to be taller. They tend to be wider. They tend to be stronger. Not always, but they tend to be. But then there's 2 other areas that we need to be aware of. We have nature, which is, our gene pool, but then we have nurture. Nurture is where we grow up in our homes, our beliefs, our values, our education system, our mindset, and everything like that. That comes from home. So our physical features, the eye color, the height, shoe size, everything like that, that's nature. Then we have nurture, and that's where our core beliefs come from. I need you to understand that half of what you learn in your lifetime, you have learned by age 7. That is pretty amazing if you think about it. So I can't begin to tell you, coaching now, I've been coaching for, holy crap, 18 years. And I can't tell you the cesspool of misbelief and damaging thoughts and everything like that that aren't even ours. They come from somebody else, and we bought into them as a kid, and they became a truth for us that is not really a truth. This is where nurture comes from. This is nurture. And I want you to understand, I have 7 kids, and I have a son. My wife and I got divorced. My son was 3. I was very involved in my son's life, but his primary caregiver was his mom. My son has very feminine energy to him. It's not bad. He's still a guy. He still likes girls. I mean, there's nothing, and whether you do or don't, that doesn't mean anything. That was not a negative in any way. But what I'm saying is our nurture, our environment has a big part as to how we interact and see ourselves with the world. If you were brought up in a house with 2 guys or 3 guys in the house, I don't care whether you're male or female, you're going to have a tendency to have masculine, you're going to have masculine tendencies because that's what you were brought up with. If you were brought up in a house of women, right? My son was brought up with 2 sisters and his mom. He has feminine tendencies, feminine energy tendencies. And that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different. But then there's one other area. As we get a little older, from about 7 to about 18, we have the network. This is where our social development comes in. This is where we find our place in our cliques and such like that. But they help us, right? They define the impact, right? That they're going to have on your development as you get older. So let me give you an example. When boys play a game, anybody that wants to disagree, please give me a hands up or something like that. I'm going to do it. I'll talk to you. But when boys play a game, ladies, I need you to understand, we play to win. Okay? Girls, when they play a game, they play to get closer. They play to develop relationships. Okay? There's all kinds of stuff, the stories and such out there where, you know, guys will rip someone's arm off to get that win. But girls, and I want to be careful, but girls, when they're little, if they're playing hopscotch or something like that, if someone falls, you know, they use that time to connect and grow and build relationships. So it's very, very different. What I need you to understand that out of these 4 areas, nurture and network are huge in determining who you become, right? Or not so much who you become. We both have, I have masculine energy and feminine energy. We all do. Okay. Typically, and I'm just going to use again, typically, a woman may be very feminine until she feels threatened, and then masculine energy takes over and she starts to stand up, puts her chest out, and starts to assert herself more. That's masculine energy. A man who's typically masculine, when is attacked, like when my wife comes to me and she starts beating me up about something, which again, I'm a guy, it happens often. I tend to respond by backing down, trying to understand, connect. And so my feminine energy takes over. There are strengths to both. I want you to understand that it's not bad to be one way or the other. It's just understanding which one you're dealing with as the predominant energy, and then adapting to it so that you can connect and communicate effectively. I hope you're all there. I hope I'm getting some head shaking and some amens right now. So what I want to do is really dig deeper on this. So again, every one of us has masculine and feminine energy. And I want to be really, really careful about generalizations, okay? These are what I'm going to talk about are generalizations, and you're going to be amazed that you're going to be like, holy crap, I never saw that. Holy crap, I never saw that. But that's okay. That's okay. But I want you to recognize that you may run into something that's different, and that's okay too, right? We adapt to different situations. Anybody that's done any DISC training, DISC, right? I love that stuff. I train it all the time. We have a natural style and we have an adapted style. Same thing here. Under different situations, we're going to adapt. Now, I promise you this is all going to make sense in a minute. I'm going to start giving you absolute gold on how to interact in a more positive way. So one of the things that we've got to do is matching their energies. I want you to understand the difference between male and female. Masculine and feminine, okay? Masculine energy, we're focused on tasks and solving problems. Ladies, how many times have you started a conversation with a significant person in your life just wanting them to listen, and they immediately try to stop, they put their cape on, and they immediately go into, I can fix this for you? How frustrating is that for you ladies, right?
I'm going to speak up and say that's very frustrating. I've been married for 15 years and I always tell him, stop trying to fix it. Just listen.
My wife and I, we got to a point, I start a conversation with my wife, or she'll start it with me. She goes, I don't need you to fix this. I need my friend. And literally we start the conversation that way. And it's like, I go, okay, she just wants to unload. She wants someone to hear her. And that's what I do then. So women, on the other hand, are completely focused on relationships and connection. Everything's around connection. Men, or masculine energy, is status and position oriented. Everything we do is to get or be seen as bigger, better, and more. Okay? Women tend to stop and hear people out. They want collaboration. I want independence as the man, as a masculine energy. Feminine energy tends to want to collaborate. Masculine energy tends to jump to conclusions. Feminine energy asks questions and analyzes from a much wider viewpoint. Okay? Masculine energy likes to receive individual acknowledgement and attention, whereas feminine energy likes to be seen as a team player. Masculine energy seeks to show competence or being right. I've got to be right. How many ladies, even guys, come on. I have had fights with my wife just to prove she's wrong, right? And I firmly believe in this now. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be in relationship? It doesn't matter. The stuff I was trying to be right on, it didn't make a difference. Whereas women, my wife is amazing, and my kids, I got 4 daughters, they are constantly working to build people up. Masculine energy communicates with a list style of speech. It tends to be facts and data, okay? Feminine energy tends to communicate with a connection style, with stories and relationship. Now, guys, I'm going to ask you a question. Listen to this now. How many of you have gone home and made the mistake of asking your spouse, your wife? I'm going to assume that it's a wife, that your relationship's with a wife, but feminine energy, it really doesn't make a difference. You ask her how her day went, right? 20 minutes later, you're thinking, holy shit, what did I do? Right? You're like, oh my God. You're like, you feel like you're trapped, like your arm's caught in a bear trap and you're trying to gnaw your arm off at the shoulder to get away. But I get to frustrate her back, because after she's done, she doesn't want to tell me how her day was. She wants me to relive every moment of it with her. Then she goes, Rick, how was your day? And I go, man, it was good. And that was the end of it. That's all I wanted from her. Come on. I hope I'm getting some laughing. I only see the 2 ladies here, but I hope I'm getting some laughing. This is some truth here, right? This is some truth. We got to recognize the differences. And I'm going to give you some other things that'll really help, okay? Masculine energy internalizes conflict and it's got to figure out on their own. Whereas feminine energy, again, collaborative, relationship, connection. Hey, I need help. If you hear a guy ask for help, typically he's either very, very secure in himself, or he's mentally something wrong. We don't ask for help. Okay. In fact, here's the really cool thing about this. I read this in a book. It was called The Miracle Morning and Saving Your Relationship, or something like that. It's a really good book. Hal Elrod and Paul and Stacy Martino. So this absolutely blew me away. Stacy and Paul have a relationship coaching business, and they try to push that coaching business pretty hard in the book. But if you can overlook that, there's some really good nuggets. Like, one of the things I learned, listen to this, guys, listen careful. And women, you'll be able to shake your head. If you come up and ask a woman, have you ever figured, like, your significant other gets really upset at you and you don't understand why they're doing something, and you ask if you can help them and they say no, so you go watch TV and then they get really mad, right? Here's what I learned in the book. a guy, if he walks up to his wife or a girl or whatever, girlfriend or whatever, and says, hey, would you like some help doing the dishes? And she goes, no, I've got it. And you walk away and go sit and watch TV. She's pissed. Okay. Another woman, what would happen is that other woman would go up, say, would you like help? And she goes, no, no, I'm fine. And the other woman will pick up the drying cloth, right? And start drying the dishes and talking and connecting while they're doing it, while they're doing the dishes together. Even though that she said no, even though the first lady that was washing the dishes said no, the other woman just ignored her. Right? But here's something for you ladies. When you ask a guy for help, if he wants help and he says no, ladies, I need 100% of your attention. He means it. He doesn't want help. Now, when you come in and try to do that woman thing like you would do to another woman and pick up the towel and do it, to a guy, we think you don't think we can do what we said we could do. Like you don't trust us, so you're inserting yourself. Okay? It's really very, very cool, the differences. Now, what else happens? Masculine energy tends to leave out personal information or anecdotes. We just want the facts and the lists and the tasks, whereas feminine energy shares personal information pretty quickly, right? There's very little filters in that part. Masculine energy sees asking for help or advice as a sign of weakness. See, I'm from Boston. A directional is a sign of weakness. Asking for help is a sign of weakness. Whereas feminine energy has absolutely no qualms about asking. Masculine energy tries to dominate the conversation, tries to stand up, stand out. Whereas feminine energy wants everybody to contribute. Masculine energy avoids direct eye contact because it represents a threat. If somebody's staring you down, that's a problem from a masculine point of view. Whereas feminine energy, and if I say women and men, please understand I mean masculine energy and feminine energy, but feminine energy uses eye contact to connect. Masculine energy, when we're listening, tends to be very, very still and contemplative. See, we like my wife, sometimes my wife's talking, I'll actually close my eyes so I can hear her better. But to her, it seems like I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not listening. Whereas feminine energy uses body language to show engagement. They'll touch each other while they're talking, and they'll touch, oh, sweetheart, and they'll put their arm on it, their hand on their arm, or, shaking their head and stuff like that. Guys, masculine energy, we don't do that. If masculine energy is using touch, it's a show of dominance. Feminine energy uses it to reassure, connect. Masculine energy prefers face-to-face. I want to be able to see you. Years ago, do you know where the handshake came from? Years ago, the handshake came from to show I have no weapon. That's what it comes from. Whereas women or feminine energy, they're very, very comfortable with side-to-side communication. You could be sitting next to somebody and talking to them, and it's okay. For me, I'm constantly telling them, when I'm talking to my wife, look at me, right? I want to see her seeing me. Masculine energy likes to take credit for things going well, where feminine energy tend to credit others when things are going well, and they're more likely to harbor self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs. Masculine energy doesn't tend to do that as much. When starting something new, masculine energy, man, just gets to work. Let's go. Get out of my way. Got stuff to do. Feminine energy asks lots of questions, wants to make sure they understand everything completely. It has all the scopes and everything, and they got a good start on it. So I want to explain to you why we have such a problem in our culture today with communication. And it's because men treat women like pretty men, and women treat men like hairy women. Think about that for a second. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So what I want to do is help you bridge the communication gap. And the way to do that is 3 steps. Number 1, you're going to be aware. Number 2, you're going to stay curious. And number 3 is you're going to accept who you're with and adapt to them. Do not expect them to come to you. It doesn't work that way. Number 1, they don't have the training. Number 2, you just can't count on it. Only thing you can control is you. This is not manipulative. This is actually the kindest thing you can do to another person in a relationship, whether that be sales, business, personal. Find out who you're dealing with and match your style to them. They're going to feel seen, heard, and appreciated. You're going to be able to communicate more effectively and have a much better conversation, relationship, etc. So let's first be aware. So I want you to understand that, number 1, you tend to project, right? You tend to project your view of the world on others. If you are having a really great day, you unconsciously project that on everybody you're coming into contact with, and vice versa. If you're having a really bad day, you project that on everybody too. But there might be somebody you're talking to that just won the lottery. You don't know, right? You expect others to communicate and analyze information the same as you because your way is right. But I need you to understand that your perception of the world and your place in it is not reality. It is your version of reality, and everyone has their own unique version. This is why you can have an accident, have 2 people see one accident and get 2 completely different stories and recount of it by those 2 people, and both of them are telling them the truth. This is why common sense that we think everybody should have is so uncommon, because when I think you should have common sense, what I'm saying is you should have the same morals, education, beliefs, expectations, mindset, intentions that I do, and you're going to apply them to the same problem the same way I would. It's not going to happen ever. It's not going to ever happen that way. That's why there's no such thing as common sense. What's common sense for you is Greek to somebody else, and you just got to recognize that. And I want you to understand it doesn't make right or wrong. What it makes is perspective. And I'm going to tell you that there's nothing more powerful in influencing than the power of perspective. If I can understand and see the world and appreciate it through your eyes, my ability to influence just went off the charts, right? Because Tony Robbins says this so well. You can't influence anyone until you know what influences them. That sounds like a silly comment, but if you think that through, it's really pretty right there, right? It really does make a lot of sense. You got to be aware of your baggage. You got baggage from other people, right? You got views and beliefs from your parents that aren't true. Some of them actually conflict. You have beliefs and views from trusted authority figures, a coach or a priest or a rabbi or somebody like that, that said something once and it just tore you up, and you've lived with that opinion, the lie, but that opinion of somebody else, you've lived it as a truth for years, and that baggage is hurting you, but you're using it. You got to be aware of it so that you can make a difference with it. You have peers. When you started the social groups, you're a nerd. You're a bookworm. I was one of those kids, man. One of my ways of standing out when I had I got 5 brothers and sisters. My way of standing out in my family was to be the smartest one in the room. It's just the way I handled it. I have such an appetite for knowledge. Even to today, I'm reading somewhere between 50 and 80 books a year. all on psychology, influence, business, sales, management, HR. I love this stuff, and it helps me. It actually, today it's different. It's not to be the center of attention. Today it's so that I can be more elegant in how I can help affect change and with other people. But the last thing I want you to know is you've got baggage from yourself. See, we are we are creatures of cause and effect. And the reason for that is because we only have two motivators in life. We either are motivated towards pleasure, towards gain, or away from pain. So, there are some things that work. Like if I put my hand on a stove and it's hot, I burn my hand, my brain goes, wow, that hurt. I don't want to do it again. What caused it? We do that all the time. Or we did something and it felt good. We want to tie, like that felt really good. I want to do that again. What was it? So we are cause and effect creatures. The problem is we can create incorrect inferences. Let me give you an example. My daughter's 2 years old, sitting on top of our kitchen counter, and she falls off, and it hurts, and she looks around, and all she sees is green carpeting. Okay. Now she's on that counter again, and she falls off again, and all she sees is green carpeting. It is absolutely possible that she could learn to associate the color green with pain. Okay. We make these associations all the time, and they are incorrect. So I'm going to ask you to question your beliefs constantly, because you're going to find that most of your beliefs are actually weeds that were either planted by somebody else or by an incorrect association. At one point, I've been divorced twice. And at one point in my life, I've been heard to say that marriage sucks, that the institution of marriage is a problem today. I'm a little older, a little wiser. I can tell you now, it's not the institution. It was the guy in it, right? Honestly, I had to own it, but I made an incorrect association. We've got to question our beliefs all the time. I actually, and I'm going to show you this. I hope you can see it. And if you want a list of this, just let me know. But I actually, one day, I said, I've got so many beliefs. I sat down and wrote down all the beliefs I had. Man, like one time I wanted to figure out what I had to do to be happy. So I asked myself this question. I started a question. I'll be happy when, and then I'd answer it. I'll be happy when. I did that 20 times. And when I was done 20 times and I read through my list, I looked at it and I said, holy crap, not Jesus himself could be happy with these rules. Right? And they were all crap. They were rules I made up. So what I did was I said, no, I'm going to make a new rule. I open my eyes, I'm happy. I wake up in the morning and I open my eyes, I'm happy. I opened up 2 gifts, and literally I say a little prayer every morning. I say, thank you, God, for giving me another day to screw with people's minds, right? Because that's what I'm here to do, is screw with people's minds, okay? So I sat down about 2 years ago, and I actually came up with 18 beliefs that I decided on, okay? That I decided on, and they're probably hard to read, but I decided on these. And I read this twice a day, every day on my iPad. I remind myself what my beliefs are. I want to limit the baggage that I'm bringing into my day, into my life, okay? So you got to be aware of what you're projecting. You got to be aware of your baggage. The last thing you got to be aware of is your blind spots. I love this. You can't read a label from inside the jar. And that's our whole life. We only see this. Okay? We only see this. We need people around us to tell us what we can't see. Because again, perspective is power. The more perspective, think of your life like a diamond, and it has all these facets, and you're only looking out at one of them, and it doesn't even look pretty. But these other people, they can see more of you and be able to tell you the different things that you need to know so that you can grow and become the best version of yourself. So you got to be aware of what you're projecting. You got to be aware of your baggage, and you got to be aware of your blind spots. Okay? Once you're aware of these things, now I can start to interact with other people in a more effective way. So now let's go to number 2. Number 2 is we're going to stay curious, right? Come on, man. That is one curious ostrich right there. Let's face it, right? That is one curious ostrich. But listen, let's start asking questions. Curiosity means we ask questions. So when I'm interacting with somebody, my first question, and some of you have had the opportunity to interact with me a little bit. I hope it's been a really pleasant experience and a challenging one, right? Where it helps you to grow or have fun. I don't know. Sometimes I do both. You know, Pam and Jeff and I, we've been talking for a little while together, and I think it's been fun, but at the same time, it's been, I think, a good thing. But you want to ask questions like, where are they coming from? What do they see? What do they believe? Why? Why do they believe these things? Why do they see it this way? You know, I'm going to give you a little transparency here. I just turned 59, and I've never been drunk. My entire life, I've never been drunk. And people look at me like, wow, you're weird. I grew up with an alcoholic father, right? Now, I have 2 brothers. I have a brother and a sister that are both bordering on alcoholism. I've never been drunk. That was a personal choice because I didn't want that. So when someone sees me and they see, oh, man, he's a wimp, man. He doesn't drink, man. He can't hold his liquor. Come on, man. No, it's because of what happened to me. I need you to understand that everybody has a specific viewpoint. And I'm going to just say, hey, there are people out there that are Democrats and there are people out there that are Republicans. And I'm going to ask you to just think this through for a little bit, right? There's more that unites us as a group than separates us. I need you to understand that, okay? There's probably 10, 15, maybe 20% that's intrinsically different, but I guarantee you, each one of us, whether we're Democrat, Independent, Republican, whatever it is, we want the best for ourselves and our family. We want to be safe. We want to be able to provide. We want to make a difference. We want to know that at the end of our days, it wasn't just a time that went by. We'll see you, Sandy. There's more that unites us than separates us. But through all kinds of weird stuff, everybody's focused on the difference. And instead of stepping back and asking, where are they coming from? What do they see? Why do they see it that way? What do they believe? We're trying to prove someone wrong or right. I'm right, you're wrong. No, we're different. And I truly believe that I can learn so much by getting to understand and appreciate your perspective. I don't have to believe it, but just being able to appreciate it makes all the difference in the world. You know, if someone come up to me and said the sky is green, am I going to spend 3 hours arguing saying the sky is blue? What if he's colorblind? What if it really is green to him? Who am I to tell him what's right or wrong? I know I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but I really think we need this right now in our time, this time in our country and in our lives. We need so much more patience and kindness and curiosity instead of judging. So I hope you'll think this through. I hope you will, okay? So now we get our next curious bird. What we've got to do is we've got to appreciate and protect our differences. There's no right and wrong. You know, if someone grew up on welfare and lived a really tough life, and you got this other person here that lived in a, you know, an upper middle class home, how could you expect both people to have the same viewpoint, to have the same expectations? Or the, you know, feminine and masculine is the same thing. My question to you is I'm going to ask you to stay curious. And then I'm going to ask you this. Listen to them, understand and learn so that you can use that perspective to grow. That's what this is all about, is to step back and grow. I'm a religious guy, and I truly believe that this is a little weird. My brain never shuts off, right? So in the Bible, it says God is love and that we are part of God. Like each one of us has part of God in there. I truly, in my mind, see love as one big diamond, and each one of us is a facet in that diamond. And once we understand the interconnectedness that is truly us, how can we judge each other? How can we say, you're right, I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, or, I'm talking to my wife and no, you shouldn't talk like that. You should talk my way. Thank God she's different from me. In the beginning, when I first got married, I wanted her to agree with everything I said. But that was ludicrous, right? That was absolute ludicrous. But I so appreciate her perspective and the way she sees things. And it makes me a better person when I'm open to it. I hope you guys get this. I'm talking about everybody. I hope you all get this, okay? Because what we want to be able to do is accept and protect other perspectives. I love this little cartoon Sandy found, right? It's a number 8. No, it's the number 8. No, it's infinity. No, it's a wave. No, it's a pretzel. No, it's DNA. It's okay. It's okay. Slow down and adapt to other people's styles. There's another one like that where there's a number on the ground, and they got a person over here saying it's a 6 and a person over here saying it's a 9. They're both right. I mean, it's perspective. Please understand that. And then slow down and adapt to other people's styles. Why? Because we all want to be seen, heard, and appreciated. That's what it comes down to, right? And I need you to understand something. We are all equal. We're just not the same, right? And it's the individuality, the unique perspectives, thoughts, and creativity of you and your team that when you can bring it all together, that's going to take your business to the next level. Don't try to make people just like you. Embrace the diversity in your business, in your life, and watch your culture and business thrive. So I want to say thank you. I'm going to open it up to some questions or comments, please. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can see everything. I can see that there's some text.
It's a really good message, Rick.
Yes, Rick, thank you very much for your presentation. That was awesome.
You're so welcome. And I hope this wasn't false advertising, because it just felt so wrong when I started doing the, how do you talk to women? Oh, number one, who the hell am I to tell you, right? So, I am married 3 times. So, it's one of those things that I really hope that this is, I wanted ladies, people with feminine energy to be able to connect better with men. So if you're talking with a man, a masculine energy, keep it short. Right. Come to them, keep it a little shorter, have them ask questions, or say it a little short and then say, do you have any questions? Right. Instead of giving them this, right. And they're just like, oh my God, it's like, I'm watching a train wreck, but I can't turn away. And men, if you're dealing with feminine energy and you ask a question, be prepared for the story. Sit there, get comfortable, have a beer, whatever the case is, just get ready for the story. That's what's going to happen. Anybody else wants to come out on camera, please feel free. I'd love to talk to you guys. I hope this is resonating with people. And there we go.
Yeah, does anybody else have any other questions for Rick?
Carl, it was great info. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Rick, I really appreciate you taking the time to bring this topic to the table. It's a very poignant issue, one that you have a lot of insight on, but to be honest, we may never figure out.
I don't think we're supposed to figure it out. I think we're supposed to move the ball a little bit more you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just supposed to move it a little bit further. And again, the reality is if we could just judge a little less and be a little bit more curious and adapt, right? I mean, I kind of went off a little bit on the political thing, but you know, from the feminine masculine, it's really important. It really is. I've learned so much. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Great book to listen to. I like listening to books sometimes. That's a great book. The Miracle Morning and having a great relationship or something like that's a really good book to have. And I've got other relationship books, masculine and feminine energy and such like that. If you're interested, just shoot me an email. I'll be happy to send you a list. But it's amazing what happens when you can slow down a little bit and start to see things from somebody else's perspective. Life just gets so much easier.
That's true.
So, all right. Well, listen, I guess we're good.
I guess we're good. Thank you, Rick, so much for your presentation. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope it was helpful. If anybody has any questions as you're starting to implement something, hopefully you heard here today, just reach out if you're running into a challenge. I'd be happy to help you out. You know, we're here to make the world a better place, one shop at a time. That's our goal.
That's right. Yeah.
So anything we can do to help you, just let us know.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless. Take care and stay safe. Go make some money.
Thank you.